Hi, it's Graham. Welcome back to the place where we celebrate interesting and positive things in the city. I first got to know Nick when we worked together at Citizens Advice several years ago. He now organises a regular community lunch club in the All Saints Church in All Saints, which is where we recorded this conversation. We started by talking about the basic needs we all have as human beings, how the lunch club meets some of those needs and brings people together in a unique kind of way.
Food, safety, a fire. I mean, we won't have a fire inside here, but you know, we have had a barbecue on a couple of occasions when it's appropriate. But yeah, exactly. Those, and a bit of music as well, which we always have. But that just a place that people can regularly be, break a bit of bread together, and then just have a chat. And what's wonderful is, even though I always will engage with everybody that's there and check on them, what we're seeing now, and we have done for maybe even a year, is just this self-supportive attitude of all the members. So, you know, in every sense of the word, they are the lunch club, and they're doing, whereas we started off with offering the support, the time to talk, which we still do, but they're doing it naturally together, because that's what humans do. That's the purpose of it, and because we have a lot of the people come because they're lonely and isolated, the reasons why they're lonely and isolated are far-reaching, but can range from bereavement through to leaving an abusive relationship. We have to have people understand that they need to be sensitive. But I feel, from a perspective of reflection over weeks and weeks and weeks, that it's really important to safeguard those boundaries of this place. And again, I check in with the members. How are they feeling with that? Do they feel safe? Do they feel happy? And when the attitude of people that attend is calmer and thoughtful, the response has always been, that's the way we like it.
We then went on to talk about people having differences of opinion within the group and managing that, and a deeper conversation about the importance of understanding the wide range of points of view that we all hold.
Everybody's got different personalities in this world, and I think sometimes people like to be, as an old, you know, that old phrase of calling a spade, and that, it's all well and good people having opinions, but the fundamental thing here is that we're all sat around a table. So what I kind of went to really was with what kind of table manners were like utilised back in the day.
Yeah.
And it was
what would your grandparents have told you off for?
Exactly.
told you
and
how
often
to
it was
behave.
talking about politics and religion, and on a very deep level, and because people can have completely asymmetric opinions on that, and that can lead to a bit of confrontation. So on one occasion, it's like we're dealing with thoughtful, experienced adults here. Sometimes people's emotions run high, and so what I kind of put to the group, and we have it sometimes, but if people want to break out from the table setting, then we put a set of tables up at the side, and just it's sort of like discussion corner.
Yeah.
But be mindful that people will bring their opinions to the table, and it's, you know, it's about, do you really want to listen to what somebody else has got to say about something that you care about? Yeah.
It's funny because I find other people's opinions fascinating, and you might disagree with them, but understanding why somebody thinks the way they do, or understanding different points of view, I think is just really interesting.
I think that,
and we are all so different.
We are, and I think that in this day and age, you know, the news media like to polarise people into two camps. Oh, you know, let's use immigration as an example. You're either pro it or you're against it. You're either, you know, this or you're that. You're left or you're right. You know, and it's a great tool for stoking the fire of difference. Now, I'm not saying there's not difference, but if we can't talk about anything in a respectful way and share our varied opinions, how can we make any headway in a complicated world? It's difficult though, because, you know, some people are very entrenched in their opinions, and it's almost like, do we need a bit of a kind of support with dialogue when, you know, we are bringing our opinions to the table? Is, you know, certain themes of compassion, like positive listening, this kind of stuff. And I think what you're talking about, which is for me wonderful, it's just really trying to like a bit of a Louis Theroux kind of methodology, where it's just trying to understand what somebody means when they open their mouth and use words. So it's just trying to unpack that. And then also people are neurally diverse, and some people are more black and white kind of thinkers, others see in a shade of grey or colours, and And so, that itself brings a
Yeah.
variety of opinion and difference.
I think whatever somebody thinks, and whether you agree with it or don't, they've got that opinion from somewhere. Something has shaped that opinion, and that's interesting in itself.
Exactly.
And often when we really sit down and talk about things, we're closer than we think. It's easier to think we completely disagree, but actually we're more often closer than we think.
Exactly. And often in a safe environment where it's not competitive, can more easily understand somebody else's point of view.
Yeah.
But if you're in a battle and your opinion is your sword, and you're in a circumstance like that, the chances are you might not yield and fight more. Whereas if it's just like, well, it doesn't really matter what we all think on a level of judgment.
Yeah.
So what is it that makes you tick, and how did you come to feel that, and what are you worried about? Because you underpin things really, and two asymmetrically on paper opinions can hold actually quite a few similar points of view: concern, care, worry, fear, all of these things, and you try to unpack them, and they're often from a different point of view, or there are similarities. But again, if you don't have an environment which is promoting understanding and is instead promoting kind of conflict and thrives off it, then those differences of opinions are almost always going to be combative.
Yeah, we look for things that confirm our point of view.
Yeah.
And we find it difficult when something actually really challenges the way we see things. Yeah.
That kind of schema we create about this is how the world is, and then okay, because we are pattern-seeking creatures, and if the pattern that we've made is challenged, it's like, well, no, I don't understand what you mean by another pattern. So so we need to bear that in mind for ourselves. Like, it's always going to be difficult to see somebody else's point of view. But how do you nurture the variety, and again, that is often in a caring, fun, slightly maybe joyous.
Yeah.
I think comedy is wonderful, because how many of us in a safe environment can we all say, on many occasions, we can all be a bit ridiculous, right? But if you said that in a combative scenario, no, never, not me, no, couldn't possibly be. And so again, you get this deflection, but if we all can kind of go, we've sort of got some kind of idea, but we're definitely not right all the time. Well, doesn't that give you so much freedom to try to muddle through and work out what we could do without those, complete entrenched positions on things?
Sounds like you find people interesting.
Yeah, I do, and I just love being around people and finding out. I think one of my favourite things is just watching and being part of what makes people feel good, and what people dislike, and the difficulties they have with their minds, and what seems to work, and I get challenged on that every day, because I can have my own opinions on things, and I do, and I have my own desires for myself and for other people. I don't know, I think there's just a way of talking about our own individual journeys without pressing it upon somebody else, that seems to make a person feel like they can do what they want to do, and energised to make maybe some positive choices, whatever they are about their thing. But like, when you're told quite firmly, I think that most people have their own kind of like knowings of what they want to do and what they won't, and I see so many people resisting pressures on them by other people that they should or shouldn't do something, or so I don't know. I find it all interesting, but I love the lunch club. I mean, maybe because it validates my own perspective on life, which is basically provide a nice environment, support people, and wonderful things can happen.
Thank you to Nick for a really thoughtful conversation. Some of what we talked about reminded me a little of the early episode I recorded with Bones, which would definitely be worth a listen if you haven't heard it already. If you want to support this podcast, take a moment to follow on Spotify, Apple or YouTube, and share with someone else who might like to hear it. I hope you have a good day, and catch you in the next one.